Welcome to the show, everyone. I'm JJ Flazanes, your host. Thank you for downloading today's episode. If you're getting today's show on the day it is released, Merry Christmas Eve, Happy Hanukkah, and Happy Holidays. In case you hear some bells in my background, for those of you that follow me on Instagram, you will know I am fostering 2 kittens right now. So it is not Santa Claus, it is Prudence and Olive, and they are enjoying playing with those balls with the bells in them and having a good time getting acquainted to my space. They'll be here for a week before I take them to their final destination where I have found them a forever home. So I will not try to contain them. So if you hear some bells in the background, please be patient and understanding. And I thank you for that ahead of time. Today's show is about how confidence affects abundance. And this show has been brewing for a while. And it really came to a head recently when I thought of a few people in my life who are really struggling with money, with selling, with creating things, with asking to be paid, and for paying for things. And I thought of that. I thought about that. And it bothered me in a way because it represented on one side a bunch of, like, let's say the spiritual community who discount the role of abundance in our daily existence. People who think that money is not spiritual. People who think money has some negative connotation to it. What we all know about abundance and energy is that it's just energy. Money is energy. And it's directly related to how you feel about yourself and yourself being in a state of allowing abundance and joy. So while I was going to do a webinar on this, I thought I'm going to start off just with a show. So this is my last solo show of 2019. First, let me start off by saying thank you all for continuing to be subscribers to the show. I do appreciate it. You know, I always know when people are enjoying the show and getting something from it because you email me and you tell me about your experience and you share with me how it's impacted you. And then there's the few people who don't like the show and they write a review. So if you're one of those people who've had a positive experience with any of my shows and you haven't written a review, my holiday ask for this time frame is if you would please write a review for me. I would so appreciate balancing out the few people who are extremely triggered and confronted by all the things that I say, so much so that they write a not nice review. Now, I know where it comes from. It doesn't necessarily bother me. But for someone else who's looking for a show to listen to, it always helps to have more positive reviews, of course, than negative reviews. So getting into today's show about how confidence affects abundance. I think of it like a thermometer. And it happens in all areas of our life. There's a certain level that we get to, that we've experienced. Some level of happiness, some level of joy, some level of acceptance, some level of health, some level of commitment to ourselves and to others. And when we get to that level, our comfort level, let's call it, we stay there. We might want something different, but a lot of the times we're not willing to do what's necessary and uncomfortable to grow past that limit. Now, based on law of attraction, you attract where you are. You don't attract what you want, because if that were the case, everyone would be multimillionaires, most likely. You attract where you are. And you know what, let me backtrack for a second. Not everyone in the world wants a lot of money. I don't mean to make it sound like that everyone, but I'm sure if someone handed you a lot of money, you may give it away, but you wouldn't necessarily say no if there were no strings attached. So let's assume that a lot of us wouldn't mind having more money. And there's nothing wrong with that. Who you are won't change by the amount of money that you make. Money will only amplify who you are as a person. So if you're a really good person, you'll do really good things with that money. If you're not a good person, you'll continue to feed the low levels of insecurities that you have by treating money as if it's a way to make up for the lack of confidence that you have. The way to grow out of and into the next level of who you are is to work on your level of ability to accept, your level of ability to receive. And that has to do with your confidence. Months ago, I did a show on scarcity of money, and I was working with a client at the time. And what I found really fascinating, because I didn't think about it because it's not my experience. I have worked for myself now for about 20 years. And even when I worked for someone else, I always worked for them somewhat part-time because I had multiple jobs. So let's say in New York City, while I was a personal trainer and I had clients through a gym, I also worked as a manager part-time at a restaurant and a consultant for some of the other restaurants in the chain. I also had clients outside of the gym. So I've also always had multiple streams of income. I also was acting. So I was getting paid from sources outside of nutrition and wellness and fitness and weight loss and restaurants. So when I put my hat on of becoming an employee to help a client figure out the scarcity route, well, it became pretty clear. A lot of people have scarcity of money because you have no other idea of how to get it. You've given yourself one person, one entity, one institution that pays you. Think about that for a second. Of all of the companies, of all the people in the world, whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee, one fact remains: you get paid by other people. So as an employee, you get paid by one person. As an entrepreneur, the world is your oyster and you can get paid by everybody if you're really successful. So looking at it from an employee's point of view, if the only way to increase your money is by getting more from the one person or the one institution that you ask for money, then we feel really victimized. We feel really insecure and a little afraid and powerless sometimes over influencing that one person and that one institution to give you more money. So for those of you that are employees, just for a second, again, I am not trying to convert you, put on the hat of an entrepreneur. Everywhere I look, there's opportunity. Everywhere I look, there's possibility. And every new thought and every new idea and every new experience I have is something I can share. Now, all of them won't be brilliant and not all of them will be of value, but a lot of them will be. And I can turn around and offer that tool, offer that accountability, offer that assistance to somebody else for value and ask for that value to be paid in dollars. So there are multiple ways, many ways, unlimited ways for you to receive money and abundance when you are an entrepreneur. Now, there's literally as many ways when you're not an employee as well. You'll just have less time to execute some of this and less time to do some of it. But whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee, one thing still remains on how to get from point A to point B, which is to ask. To either ask for the raise, to ask for the value, to sit in an interview and tell them what your rate is, or to work with a client. You know, my rates have gone up in the last 2 years because my time is valuable and more people want it. So the more people that want my time, the more my time becomes more valuable, both to me as well as to the other person on the other end. So the rates have increased, and that will continue on. At the more I am doing things, the more people who want my time, the more my time and the rate of that time will increase, right? I'm sure that makes sense. So what I'm trying to impress upon you is to understand that you are at a certain level, certain temperature level, certain comfort level. And that comfort level of how worthy you feel, how valuable you feel, how much what you have to offer is of value to others, that level of confidence will dictate how much money you're able to ask for and receive, both from people that you ask as well as opportunities and manifestations. Again, we attract where we are. We don't attract what we want, we attract where we are. So how do we get out of that? Well, there's several practices within Law of Attraction, but the first is the awareness that your thermometer is set at a place, while be it comfortable for you, and maybe some of you don't even realize it's comfortable, you think this is uncomfortable because it's not what I want. But if you really believed that you could have more than you are getting, the question is, why aren't you striving for that? Why aren't you stretching for that? If you're an earth sign, or if you have an earth sign moon, that would be Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, a lot of you really, and I love you, you have very many positive qualities, but there are times where the stability of what is familiar can be a disservice for your growth. Now, that doesn't have to be just earth signs. It could be anyone who's afraid of any kind of change. But it's really going to be about moving that needle. You do not know what you do not know. And you are not used to receiving at another level you're not used to receiving. So how do we change that? Well, we have to stretch, guys. You have to stretch past your comfort level. It does many things. You know, one of my most favorite shows, Mind to Matter, with Dawson Church, and we talked a lot about neural plasticity. That's the ability for your brain to grow and change, and that we create neural pathways in our brain just like we do in muscles, just like we do in training our body, that when we try new things, when we believe new things, when we practice new things, we strengthen that new way, which allows us then to experience something different than what we're used to. Think of it as having two weights in your hand. One is 2 pounds and one is 10 pounds. The one with the 10-pound weight will get stronger faster than the one with the 2-pound weight. And that side will be more easily used for many things because it's stronger. But we've just trained them differently. I mean, you could even take it as far as say one arm you're going to work out and the other arm you're not going to work out. So the one that you practice is the one you get good at. It's very simple. The power is in your hands that you can actually shift your beliefs, your temperature set point, your gauge of comfortability, and learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Stepping out of your comfort zone, expanding yourself in a new way, stretching yourself into that new level that you say that you want. But here's the kicker. You're not going to get there without stretching. You're not going to get there being comfortable where you are. They're two very different things. If you keep being where you are, you get more of where you are. And if we want something new, we have to stretch out beyond what we're used to. So I'm going to give you some homework to do over the course of this holiday season that I hope you'll seriously consider doing. It's homework I gave my Inner Circle Mastermind group. And by the way, there are a few spaces left for those of you that are interested. It's 12-month commitment with a guarantee. So if you want to be stretched, again, there are only a few spaces left. Reach out and let's have a conversation. So the first one is to do a real appreciation and list of all of your accomplishments of 2019. But here's how this is different. I want you to sit down with a calendar or your device with all of the activities that have been listed and on your schedule for the last 12 months. I want you to start back in January of 2019, and I want you to calculate and write down, categorize all of the different things that changed for you in good ways and in ways that maybe you didn't love, but it absolutely pushed you forward. When we had to move, this has actually pushed me beyond my comfort zone. It's getting me ready to buy. It's getting me ready to live in a different bracket because I was very comfortable. And comfort doesn't mean you can't enjoy where you are, but if you want to grow, which I did, but you're unwilling to grow, sometimes you're going to manifest being pushed. And sometimes that push isn't going to come in a comfortable way. So I want to encourage you to get out ahead of the universe kicking your butt with something bad happening by actually proactively stretching yourself so that you can grow yourself consciously. So I want you to make that list of all your accomplishments of 2019. I want you to take no less than 15 minutes. You can take up to a half an hour or more looking back over your year. Do a year review of your life. Write down everything you can possibly think of that went well or that pushed you into a new level. Next, I want you to write a list of all the patterns and habits that you continue to pull forward year after year, or at least this year. Maybe habits or patterns that you started recently that you don't like eating too much sugar or too much starch or too many carbs, or getting lazy about cooking. That would be one for me. And it's not that I got lazy about cooking. It's in my new relationship, I'm not using cooking as an escape. So now I'm working more. When I'm working, I do actually work less, but when I'm working, I'm not focused on working in the kitchen. And I actually miss and enjoy cooking and baking. So I've made it a point recently during this holiday week to do more of that. So I want you to write down all of the patterns, habits, energies, beliefs, things that you can notice aren't serving you, and write them down on a separate piece of paper that then you're then going to burn either on New Year's Eve or the day before New Year's Eve or somewhere around the New Year's Eve timeframe. I want this to signify a release for you, a way for you to consciously let go of needing to hold on to these patterns. Now, you may or may not be able to release all of that by yourself, but it's a start. It's a step in the right direction to acknowledging and telling the universe, I'm done with this, and this is not serving me, and I'm aware of it. The third step, I want you to write a list of goals for 2020 that come from a very inspired place. And I really want you to consider only making 3 or 5 really big goals. Many times, especially when goal setting for fitness and health and weight loss, people overcommit all the time. I'll get people that say, I want to lose 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 pounds. And they'll go from not working out at all to saying, I can do 5 days a week. There's no reason why I can't do 5 days a week. And I often say, well, are you doing 5 days a week now? No. So why do you think you're going to go from no days a week to 5 days a week? I don't want you to set yourself up to fail. I want you to set yourself up to win. And I want you to decide what are the most important things to move towards, to evolve to expand to. I have 3 goals for next year, and I will share them here. I will publicly declare them so that I can help energetically make them happen. I have always wanted to do a TED Talk. And over the years, with all the different kinds of content that I put out, I've never thought of what I could talk about. I mean, I have a lot of things I could talk about, but what's the one thing that I would actually put forward to say, this is what I want to speak on at a TED Talk? And it didn't become clear until October, which was 2 months ago. 2 months ago, when I was getting ready to be involved in a TED Talk situation, I thought to myself, I don't know. I'm just going to listen and I'm going to wait until I'm ready, and I'll take notes and I'll have these resources to help me for when I'm ready. But I'm not sure when that's going to be. And then something happened, a trigger happened. It put me in a negative state. And that negative state had me look at myself and say, all right, let's do some of the tools. So I was standing on some grass and some dirt in my bare feet, earthing. I was doing some EFT. I was tapping on some scarcity. I was doing some visualization. I was writing gratitude and appreciation lists. I was doing a rampage of appreciation out loud. And then I walked into a room and I talked to a friend, and that friend was at a certain frequency. And even though she was asking me questions that were totally unrelated, I became a clear channel for my download that let me know what I'm going to be doing next year. And it was all a perfect divine timing storm of different things that had come together. I had people at the events ask me when I'm going to certify people to do what I do. I've had business coaches and mentors tell me I need to hire salespeople and I need to certify people. I need to create a program for this, and this, all of which felt very overwhelming and not the right time. And then I got this download about what is going to happen. And I'm now very clear about what the TED Talk will be about, what the outline to the book for the TED Talk will be about, and the certification program I will be putting together. And I will have the help of Dr. Sheree Carter-Scott, who's been on the show, to put that certification program together. 2020 is the year of my TED Talk. 2020 is the year where I stretch beyond being uncomfortable because I'm tired of giving a shit that people have a problem with the fact that I'm not a therapist. I'm over that because the work I've been doing for the last 2 to 3 years, the information I've been so passionately providing at my live events and in coaching has changed people's marriages, has saved them from depression. It has created clarity and connection, and it is too powerful to keep a secret any longer. And it's not my work, but it's the work that I've been evolved into and that I am taking to the next level. And I'm now ready. I'm now confident enough. I'm now secure enough to handle any negative feedback because it isn't about me. If I can help one person get out of depression and anxiety and suicide, if I can help one relationship be saved by this information, why wouldn't I do that? Any naysayers at this point are really just people who are confronted about their wounds they don't want to heal. And that's not my problem. So now I'm going to direct this back to you. I am sure there is at least one, if not two goals that you have for 2020. Maybe they're secret. Maybe you haven't shared them with anyone. Maybe it's a desire and a passion that you have tucked deep inside of you that you haven't admitted even to yourself about, because you know the minute that you admit to it, it's going to spark a fire inside of you. So the question becomes, what's stopping you? Why are you not doing it? If you are ready to let go of fear, uncomfortableness, looking stupid, feeling contained and fear of other people's judgments, if you're ready to let that go, I invite you to really step into 2020 and stretch yourself. When you write this list of your goals, I want you to write next to each one of them how you're going to ensure your success. So for me, hiring someone to help me with my TED Talk, help me attain it, help me structure it, that is on my list of things to do. And then the other things, I've got Dr. Cherie Carter-Scott, who's going to help me with the certification program. And then the book I will put together, and if I need extra help and accountability, I have my mastermind group to hold me accountable to doing it. So let me ask you, how are you going to stretch yourself in 2020 to move the needle on your confidence and your ability to attract more abundance? Well, of course, I have some things to offer you. And if it's not my programs or my services, then please write somebody else's down. If you leave it blank, the likelihood you're going to hold yourself to that is probably slim. And I don't want that for you in 2020. 2020 is about spiritual growth, about focus, about relationships and compassion. And that compassion has to happen with you first. You want to grow you. That's why you listen to this show. So the first thing I'm going to offer is releasing what weighs you down. It is probably the last time I'm going to do it, or the last time in a long time. If I do it again, it's going to have to be pre-sold ahead of time, because with the goals that I have for next year, I don't have time to focus on this. So it probably won't happen in 2021. It may or may not happen in 2022. This may be, I may move beyond this event because now it'll be the third time. It's an amazing event. Transformation happens and transformation lasts. But I'm evolving too, so I don't know that we'll ever do it again. If you have ever felt called, you've heard me talk about it on the show. If you have ever felt a ping of wanting to come to releasing what weighs you down, this is it. This might be the last opportunity that you ever have. Please do not wait. And the stretch that you'd have to do to get there, consider it your Christmas present, your birthday present, your January detox, your joining the gym budget that you have. Instead of telling yourself that you can't afford it, the question I have is, can you afford not to? Are you fine to repeat last year again? Have you had enough growth, enough momentum in your life to continue to be okay with where you are now? And if that's true, then that's awesome. That's great. I'm speaking to those of you that know you have another purpose, another level to get to, and maybe you haven't gotten there yet, or you haven't gotten to the next stage easily, or you're just tired of repeating your patterns over and over again, whether it be forgiveness, relationships, weight loss, self-esteem, confidence, sexuality, money. We're going to be clearing all this abundant stuff with Lisa at Releasing What Weighs You Down. So if that at all calls to you, please go to releasingwhatweighsyoudown.com. It'll direct you to the exact page to sign up. The cost is dependent on your room type. So depending on what kind of room, I believe it's around $1,500, give or take a couple hundred in each direction, depending on what kind of room you choose. If you live in the area, in the Santa Cruz, San Jose area, then you can come for, I believe, like a fee that includes all of the ticket and the meals that doesn't include the room. But please, give them a call, check out the website. If you need extra help, you also get $500 worth of bonuses, which includes a session with me. and 4 audios, 2 clearings from Lisa and 2 from me, that minor visualizations that you'll get when you sign up. So sign up, send me the confirmation, jj@jjflizanes.com, and you will get these bonuses of $500. Now, if Releasing What Weighs You Down is completely 100% out of the question, it doesn't resonate with you at all, there are a few spaces left in the Inner Circle Mastermind. This is a 1-year commitment from January to January, or January to end of December, that will keep you accountable to growing a side business or a business. I mean, there are people who are in the group who don't even have their business yet. They're literally growing their business from within the mastermind. The fee is half of the lowest possible fee I've ever heard for a mastermind, and it's a guarantee. When I went through all that you get and I valued it, I actually cut it in half and offered it at 50%, and I gave a guarantee. If I cannot help you make back the money you'd invest in the mastermind, then I shouldn't be doing this. And I don't know that I can continue to give a guarantee next year when I triple the price. So if you would like my dedication and support, along with 14 other people, the mastermind has a few spaces. And again, we can grow your business. We can help you start a business, write a book, start a podcast, grow a product line, whatever you want to do, or even just manifest more money. But it is a tight-knit group of people who are going to support and hold the space for you for 1 full year of your growth. You would have to literally be sleeping through all of it to not grow at all. So that is the mastermind. There are a few spaces left. Contact me, jj@jjflizanes.com. We'd have to have a conversation. You have to be the right fit as well. Not everyone will be the right fit. Last but not least is the Inner Circle membership, which, by the way, if you do the mastermind, you get it for free for 1 year. And if you do Releasing What Weighs You Down, you get it for 3 months for free. The Inner Circle membership is $9.99 a month. Yes, that's $10 a month. We are doing the first manifestation challenge in January for 2020 within the Inner Circle, which means a lot more personalized time, a lot more intimate situation with people, and we have monthly group live coaching calls. On top of that, there's also going to be a detox that we do at the end of January. All the live Q&As will be done from people in the Inner Circle, as well as any live coaching on the show will be taken from anyone within the Inner Circle. Again, $9.99 a month, or with a 7-day free trial, and you can quit at any time. Of course, if you quit, I remove you from all the other things. So you can't be in the Facebook group or get the podcast anymore or do any of the live coaching calls that we do. But $9.99 a month is less than 2 cups of specialty coffee a month. So please consider that, if nothing else. I've given you 3 options to help stretch you. I don't think $9.99 a month is stretching anyone, but it's someplace to continue growing yourself with a community of people who are doing this work. If you are ready to increase your confidence, to increase your abundance, if you are ready to increase and elevate your ability to trust yourself as well as others and the world and the universe, and the idea of abundance, the idea of flow and manifestation, I urge you, beg you, plead with you. I hope you feel my love for you. I just want your betterment, because I can't do this alone. While I'm going to step out and say I'm going to claim a TED Talk in 2020 and do all the things that I'm going to do, I'm one person. And it helps me to help you get better, because when you get better, you help other people get better. And together, not that we have to fix the world, that's not the point. The point is to elevate frequency and consciousness, and to live in a space where there are more of us to be in community with each other, and to make magic happen more often, and to live in a state of joy and appreciation higher than most of us practice on a regular basis. I hope you feel my love for you. I hope you take action on one of the 3 things I offered you. And if not, please at least take action somewhere else to commit yourself to stretch for 2020 and get those dreams met and live your life fully while you're here on the planet at this time. I love you. Happy holidays. Thank you so much for being a part of my community, and I look forward to supporting you in 2020.